I'm Lauren Rosenblatt. This is Darius Roberts. We are the COO and CEO of Uplift Solar Corp, a Las Vegas-based company. And Uplift was born from the question of why isn't it that every surface that's hit by sunlight is generating solar energy? We think solar energy should be everywhere and it needs to be there faster. And our answer to that question is our innovative power electronics. So I'm going to spend the next few minutes telling you about our technology and telling you a little bit about our business. Feel free to stop me at any time if you want to ask questions. So the thing about solar panels or solar systems is that they are in fact quite complicated. People think of them as you put the panels on the roof and voila, you have energy. But it takes a seasoned and well-trained solar installer to put the systems together and make them work. A lot of the questions focus around how to arrange the panels to avoid shade and increase energy productivity, what components to use, what manufacturers to rely on, what the costs are going to be, what kinds of value adds the customer wants, like an app to interact with the system or energy storage. Importantly, the solar installer needs to think about module level power electronics, which have become important for rooftop installations. And they drive performance of the solar system overall, but they might not be compatible and they may add cost. So a little bit more about the solar module level power electronics is that they have captured 80% of residential installs in the US and 20% of commercial installs in the US because of the way that they drive performance. That market has grown from 700 million in 2019 to an estimated 3 billion in 2025. It's a hyper growth market. But what's interesting about module level power electronics that are available on the market today is they serve such a small segment of where solar is and where it's going. The panels that you see on your neighbor's roof or on the top of a big box store is what these module level power electronics are compatible with. They attach on the back in a black box. But there are a lot of environments like metal roofs that are super hot, or innovations in solar such as building facades where there's not a lot of space behind them, flush mount solar tiles and shingles where the black box doesn't fit. That's also a fast growing market. And other solar innovations like portables for RV and marine or the tops of long haul trucks. These module level power electronics cannot serve these markets, and Uplift can. So I want to tell you a little bit about the technology and how. So we have a patented high frequency multi-phasing technology that uniquely draws as much power as possible from each of the solar cells within the solar panel. This has several advantages over our competitors. One is we can use smaller components, which are less expensive, and therefore at scale, we can be at or below the unit costs of our competitors. We also distribute the heat, which means we can slip inside solar panels. Again, this is distinguished from our competitors who can only fit behind the solar panel, and there needs to be space for that. We work at a cell string level, which means we improve power optimization outcomes under partial shade. 10 to 15% of potential solar installations in California alone are rendered non-viable by partial shading. Our competitors can't fix that problem, we can. The brain trust on our power electronics, a microprocessor that has excess computing power, a Bluetooth communications chip, and a GPS module, create intelligence that we stuff inside the solar panel that other solar systems either don't have or have to add extra components to provide. Some of the intelligence that we like to brag about is reversing current to melt snow off the face of a panel, some fire safety add-ons like ground fault and arc fault detection, communications through a mesh network, which is great for installers. They can, while they're wiring up the panels, communicate with the panels and understand if the panels are being connected. They can troubleshoot post-installation problems, which means installations are a lot more effective and fast, even if the installer is less trained. The GPS module is great for geo-positioning and location, and we think it's going to be terrific for off-grid markets. We'll come back to that in a minute. So our strategy for getting our device out into the market is what's known as a bowling pin strategy. We're starting with higher priced products in niche markets like portables for RV and marine, or transportation, things, panels that go on the roof and say triple charge a battery, or provide power for cooling. These customers can can absorb the slightly higher price point and are looking for competitive enhancements in the products that they're buying. As we gain traction with those customers, in fact, we're already working with a couple in those areas, then we'd like to move into the residential and commercial spaces where our competitors don't serve. Again, building integrated PV, solar tiles and shingles, and hot metal roofs for commercial. And then as we gain traction with those customers, we think we can compete with our primary competitors, SolarEdge and Enphase, in just general commercial and residential. With strong revenue traction in about 18 to 24 months, we see that we'll be on firm ground for diversifying. Our power electronics can also serve wind and energy storage, and we hope to go global. As I mentioned, we don't have a lot of competition in the early days, but Enphase, which makes microinverters, and SolarEdge, which makes DC power optimizers, are the two that are biggest in the subsegment of residential and commercial that they serve. So where are we today? Well, when we last visited you in 2019, we were in a much different place, and I think you'll agree we've come a long way. We took advantage of 2020 and had our heads down working on our tech. We managed to fully develop our prototype. We invested in our patents. Our power management technology patent was issued in June of this year, and we participated in multiple incubators. The Department of Energy and the Clean Tech Open both awarded us some money, which was great for developing our tech. And then we took in a small amount of investment from friends and family early this year to really complete the development of our hardware and go deep into the software layer of our development. So right now, where we are is we need money to build a team. We have some customer traction. We expect to sign up a few more customers by the end of the year and complete the software development so that we can really work one-on-one with customers and get to a place where they're purchasing units by mid next year. We also hope to enter the residential and commercial markets by mid next year. So we're looking to take the contractors that we've brought on board and have started to develop and turn them into salaried employees, and also invest heavily in marketing. I do want to say a word about where we want to go in the future. Our execution strategy right now is about focusing on driving performance in OECD markets, but our hardware can secure the financing for off-grid systems and systems that are about the size that you see, maybe slightly smaller than you see on houses today. And that product does not exist. And therefore, systems that serve homes are not financed and not financeable in places like Africa and parts of Asia. We're working with subject matter experts now who want to do business and want to secure the financing so that they can offer affordable units to people who really need energy. And we're excited to be working with them and are starting to talk about pilots. And we look forward to serving those markets in the future. So this is a visual summary of what we hope to do with the financing. We have some money and some customers that give us some traction to get a certain distance, and we can grow slowly with the resources we have. But as we mentioned with funding, we can really grow the team and work with and for multiple customers at a time and get to revenue and larger revenue more quickly. Just a word about team. We have a terrific team with a lot of talent. We've added some contractors who are very techy and are really helping us out with the hardware and software. We've been very pleased with them. We have some terrific advisors. Chris Cook, who was a founder at SunEdison, really knows the industry. And Luis Morales, who was a high-up executive at Enphase, as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, that's a competitor of ours, and he's been really great with the perspectives on the industry. So this is our last slide. We're looking for $3 million for an 18 to 24 month runway. We believe that's how we will get to strong revenue traction and a point where we can take in additional equity to really go global and diversify into non-solar products. I think the key takeaway from this slide is that we're investing highly in people. So we're hoping to bring people in, people that will stay with us in the long term and really help us make our tech go. Thank you.